You can go Phil, Ollie, and not Ollie.
Okay. All right, so you're playing with Devil Wears Prada tonight, Story of the Year, and what was the fourth band?
I don't know. And the reason I don't know is because the band that's been on the tour from the beginning, Haste the Day, they had to drop off for a couple shows, and this other band, I guess they got stuck in Brazil.
Stuck in Brazil?
Yeah, and they missed the first show that they were supposed to play. They made a day off, so this is the first time they're actually going to be playing a show with us, so I don't know who they are.
No, so it'll be a little surprise tonight. I've seen Story of the Year way back in the day, and always a fun show.
So good.
Oh, it's still?
Well, as a band, they're like totally legit. When you doing this for a living, you see a lot of bands, and a lot of times bands are not really legit.
As we were discussing off air.
Yeah,
and they'll remain nameless, but
but like you go and you watch a band, and it's like, oh, that sounds absolutely nothing like anything you put on a record in any form ever. These guys are great. Like, they nail it. Three dudes are singing. They're jumping around. They're awesome.
When they had the big hit, and then the disc after that, the follow up, it really kind of flopped. But musically, it was incredible.
Yeah, you know what? I don't hear anything in their set that couldn't be played on the radio. It's just kind of like they didn't have like a one song that people really latched onto after.
And that's unfortunate in the quick instant gratification that we live in. It doesn't always work, and there's a lot of great bands. We always talk about bands here in the studio, and some of our favorite bands are the ones that you'll never hear about. Some of the best records that are out there you will never hear about.
Yeah, most of your listeners probably don't know who Every Time I Die is, but they're one of my favorite bands of all time.
Oh yeah,
a phenomenal band out of Buffalo.
That's awesome.
And that's the way it goes.
Now you guys hail out of Massachusetts. Are you all kind of pretty much from the area? The entire band that's home base, or
everybody here's lived within 15 minutes of each other for their entire life.
So we all Patriots and Red Sox here?
Yes.
We are? Okay. I won't hold that against you. How'd you feel about that New Orleans spanking?
We're not talking about that.
Oh, we're not talking about that?
Don't bring up Peyton Manning or his brother either.
Oh, I don't care. Hey, man, listen, you want to talk about a sore subject. I'm a Steeler fan right now, so, listen. Yeah.
Hold on.
What? You can say whatever you want as long as the FCC allows it.
It's just like my most hated team.
Okay, I'll take that. I don't have a problem with that. So you guys did a few big tours. Did the Ozfest deal in 2006? Did that kind of catapult you? Was it worth it? Because we've heard a lot of horror stories about the, paying to play and getting on it, and not really reaping the benefits with crappy set times.
Our booking agent is a genius. And
nice.
He has he's always right. He's always got a great plan for us, and we had gotten the offer to do Ozfest the previous year in 2005. We didn't have a new record out. And he's like, don't do it. And of course, from our perspective, having never done that, we're like, what are you talking about? As soon as you do Ozfest, you're automatically a huge band and blah, 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 which isn't true.
It's not true, but
that's the way it seems when you're a band that's trying to get on Ozfest and you get the offer. The idea of turning it down is just mind-boggling. And he's like, don't do it this year, do it next year when you have a new record out. And it was the best advice we ever had, because it was the fall of it was the record.
Right.
And we had all kinds of support. And we were one of the, I think, 3 bands that were rotating that year that had a brand new record out. So
nice.
There was not a lot of bands that had new music out. There was not a lot of bands that had anything that really stood out. There was a lot of hardcore-ish kind of bands and bands that were very similar sounding the year that we did it. And so we tended to stick out, and it did amazing things for us.
I thought from seeing the early ones, 97, 98, or it wasn't that early, but 97, 98, and going to, they kind of started going with the flavor of the month, and I don't know if they kind of lost its punch, and that's why I asked that question. Was it worth it, or was it like, oh, it's Ozfest, it doesn't matter, I don't care if you're playing at 10 a.m., you just got to go do it?
For us, it was worth it.
Okay.
We walked away from it. We started out as a fairly unknown band in the metal scene, and then, within a month afterwards, it seemed like everybody that was into metal at least had heard our name, and that was really a big deal.
Now let's segue to the latest one, the Mayhem Fest. How did that one work out for you? I attended it in Florida, and it was one of the, and I like the heat. It was one of the single most hottest shows I've ever been to. You played in the field, didn't you, at the amphitheater in Tampa? Mm-hmm. Was it brutal? I mean,
that day was hot. Yeah,
it was brutal.
It was nothing compared to Arizona, though. Phoenix.
Oh, really?
Every tour that we've ever done, when you get out to Phoenix, that's almost always the hottest. I think the only other place that was even as close was like someplace in California. Was it Reno or
Sacramento? St. Louis was bad one time.
St. Louis? Missouri?
I don't know what tour though.
No, I heard later on that an old dear friend of mine was the major tour manager, the whole production manager. Was Bo the production manager for Mayhem Fest?
Bo King?
Bo, I think that's his last. I haven't seen Bo in like 7-8 years, but Bo was an old dear friend of mine. We grew up in the same hometown, and I thought he was the big production manager.
Where in Florida? In Bradenton?
Yeah.
That's Bo King. He's our tour manager.
Is he here?
He's with us right now.
Bo,
he's at the new Oasis. Yeah,
he's gonna crap. Dude, Bo and I went to school together.
Did you really?
Dude, Bo and I go
That's awesome.
way back, and after Mayhem Fest in Tampa, we were talking. I found out that he was there. I mean, I was behind the soundboard half the show.
You know what his real name is then, right?
No. No, I've known Bo from the bands after school
Yeah.
and all the bands because we interchanged we were all part of the music community in Tampa.
Yeah.
That's that's
Yeah, he's our
crazy.
friend. He's been with us for a couple years now. He does
What
almost every tour we do.
you know what? I've had more Tampa Sarasota connections in this town in the last 35 days. It's been nuts. So, well, listen, you guys tonight will be hitting. I hate seeing you guys, but I got three of you standing in front of me. So tonight you're hitting stage around 9:15, something like that. You're third. You're 8:50. Okay, so you're third tonight. So all of you who think it's going to be one of these late night club shows, there's 4 bands. They will be third just before 9 o'clock. As far as I know, there's still tickets available at the door. So make sure you come out. The phones have been going ballistic for this. Do we know what the ticket cost is tonight? Well,
usually it's only like 22, 23 bucks
Nice.
once you throw in the charge, the fees and stuff like that. Usually it's less than 20 bucks.
So for 4 bands and realistically, I'm very familiar with 2 out of the 4. It's a credible show. 2 out of the 4 are worth it anyway. And the ones that I haven't seen yet, I'm hopefully going to be pleasantly surprised about it.
Sure.
So your latest disc is called Overcome, and I understand you're going to play one acoustic track for us when we get back from the break here.
Sure.
Which one are you going to do?
We'll do a song called 2 Weeks.
Okay, that is the most requested. I have this request hour at 5 o'clock, and it's probably my most requested song on this radio station.
Awesome. Well, we aim to please.
No, good. All right, listen, any parting words before we have you guys jam out for a little bit?
What?
Scrape.
Scrape?
Band on Ozfest a few years back.
Oh, yeah. We had it with a cake. Scrape with the cake. Nice. All right.
How about this word, random?
Random. All right, when we get back, we'll have all the remains. They're going to do an acoustic version of 2 weeks. We are Reno's Rock Station, Rockwood of 4.5.
Shinto.